Hi, I'm Tiffany, and I'm going to teach you how to make marmalade today. Marmalade's a really amazing, slow food. It's a beautiful process. What's great is the simplicity and the availability of citrus fruits and the variety of different flavors you can add. Today I'm going to be making a plain marmalade as well as showing you how to infuse your marmalade with herbs such as rosemary as I did with this one. It's simple, it's subtle, and it is addicting. So let's go. I've got all of my fruit pre-washed here. I've got tangerines and oranges and lemons, and we're going to take them and get them into this pot of cold water to get them to start boiling. They're going to cook for 1 hour. That's going to help soften their skin, and it's going to also help balance out the bitterness that can come from the peel. For our next step, the fruit has been drained and it has cooled now so I can handle it without burning my fingers. We're going to get a piece of cheesecloth. You can find this at pretty much any supermarket or big box store, and we're going to line a bowl with that, where we're going to scoop the inside of the lemons and the oranges into the cheesecloth, capturing all the juice, the pith, the seeds. That's where all the magic happens. You're going to get the fruit juice flavor, you're going to get the pectin from the pith and the seeds, and it's going to make this lovely little bundle that you're going to be adding back into your pot later on with your sugar and your water. So for 7 cups of water that we've poured into our stainless steel pot on the stove, we're going to add 5 cups of natural sugar. We're going to go ahead and turn the stove on, start to slowly dissolve. And while this comes to a boil, we're going to go back and finish chopping our peel, tie up our bundle, and get ready to put those right inside here. Your fruit is going to have different thicknesses in its rind. So something to think about is that lemons are a little bit more delicate. They will cook quicker than some of these thicker oranges. So if your pith side, which is the white lining of the orange peel, if this is really thick, you can trim it down easily by just sliding your knife along the inside edge to trim some of that out. See how that's so thick? So you can literally just press the flat blade of your knife down along the pith, where you should be able to slice some of it off. Go ahead and add that to your bowl, because that's going to be great for thickening all of the pectin in that. Important thing when making marmalade is it's really all about organic. Because you're going to be eating the peel, you definitely don't want to be having anything that's waxed or has any sort of pesticide spray on it. I've chopped up about 3 cups of peel. I've not used all of the peel because I prefer a little bit less peel in my marmalade, but feel free to play around with what you like best. Tying up the corners so that all of the insides stay together. This is going to be placed into the pot, and this is going to help allow the pectin to come out of the pith and the seeds, as well as the juice, which is going to flavor the syrup. So you can make yourself a little bundle. My cheesecloth is a little small here, guys, but we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. And I like to make just a little bit of a hook on it so it's easier to take out when it's time to remove it. Okay, so this is your little bundle, and it's going to go into your pot with the sugar as soon as it's dissolved. So now it's time to add our bundle into our boiling sugar water. And we're going to go ahead and add this in for about 15 minutes before we add the peel. Being careful that you don't splash yourself. You're going to drop it right in there. See that lovely amber color from that natural sugar? And then you're going to let your juices all go in there. And we're going to let this cook for about 15 minutes. A thermometer will let you know when your jam is set. You're looking for 220 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is the jelly setting stage for sugar. Making sure that the tip does not touch the bottom of the pot, because that will give you an inaccurate reading. We're going to go ahead and add our peel in. This is about 3 cups of chopped peel. We're going to continue to let this cook. You see the coolness of the peel brings the temperature down, but it's going to come right back up to a boil. After about 25 minutes of your bundle being in there, you're going to take it out and you're going to squeeze all of the juice out of it, and then you're going to set it aside and allow your marmalade to finish coming fully up to temperature. So our marmalade has now come to full temperature at 220 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stove and let it sit for 15 minutes before placing it into the jars. This allows the peel to solidify, otherwise your peel will float to the top of your jar and your jelly will be at the bottom. Pro tip. I've gone ahead and taken our sterilized jars. I've placed those into a baking dish. And then I've gone and added simmering water to our baking dish to keep our jars at temperature so they don't crack when the hot marmalade gets placed into them. This is a small batch recipe, so it's not going to make a huge amount, but it's a great way to get started and knowing the basics of marmalade, and then you can play with the amounts from there. If you have a lot of oranges, you could really make a lot of marmalade with it. One of the things I love to do when I'm making marmalade is to add a sprig of rosemary into one of my jars, and it infuses into the marmalade and creates the most wonderful flavor of rosemary and orange. You want to have about 1/4 inch headspace on the top of each jar, so you want to make sure that all of your marmalade bits are pushed in. Then you're going to take a wet, clean cloth and carefully, so you don't burn your fingers because these jars are hot, wipe the edge, making sure that it's going to get a nice, clean seal. We take our lids that have been simmering in water, so these are still sterile and warm. I'm going to drip a little bit of that water off and go ahead and place it right on top of there. At this point, what I do is I take them and I flip them upside down onto a clean cloth and let them set, and that also helps them to seal. So the reason it's important to have a 1/4 inch headspace on the jars is to eliminate the amount of oxygen in the jar, which can create an issue for mold. So I've just checked these lids, and while they're still warm, I can see that this one has already set because the dimple is down. Quite set yet. So we're gonna go ahead and put that guy back upside down. It should be set by the time it cools. And now I think it's time to try the marmalade. Sweet and simple. Exactly how we want life to be. A votre santé.